right. Excuse me. Water went down the wrong pipe. It'll give me a second or two to get my normal voice back. Unfortunately, it may sound a little raspy between now and the beginning of this weathercast here. It is Wednesday night. Excuse me, that's a little bit better. It is Wednesday, the 14th of August. We're heading toward mid-month pretty rapidly, so we're about 2.5 months in for our hurricane season, and we've got a new hurricane to talk about. We also have some hotter weather coming up by the end of the week. We also have, again, the potential of some more showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be on the strong to severe side by Friday. That forecast in just a little bit. If you've never been here before, welcome to Weather Overtime. This is our online video weather blog, keeping you updated as to what's going on with weather in and around the Tennessee River Valley. It is quiet tonight. It may not be that way in a couple of days' time. We'll talk more about what we're looking at with the forecast coming up here in just a little bit, so definitely want to stay tuned for more on that. Let's take a look at the almanac page and show you that the high temperature today just above normal and the low temperature just below normal. So we were within 8 degrees of a record high that hasn't been broken since 1902 and a record low of 54 degrees that has not been broken for 20 years. Dry on the rain gauge. We are now about 1 2/3 inches behind for the month and 6 1/3 inches behind for the year. So we could really use some more rainfall. Our wildfire risk is going to keep going up in the course of the next several days from what it looks like. Through tomorrow, getting the kids to the bus stop in the morning, temperatures will be in the low 70s, maybe a few mid to upper 60s out there, but it's not going to be as cool as it has been. And then through the rest of the day, temperatures back above normal in the lower 90s. Kids will not need the umbrella tomorrow morning or in the afternoon, of course, unless they want to use it as a portable sunshade. But for the most part, not seeing any rain close to us just yet. In the next few days after that, Friday, that could be a bit of an issue. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a second or two. Taking a look at the current conditions downtown Chattanooga, looks like it was a pretty good sunset out there. Hopefully we'll be able to give you a time lapse on that. And Sylvester the Spider out of focus, but hanging around doing his job to make certain that we have less in the way of anything involving mosquitoes or other bugs hanging around. Very dusty, lots of smoke still hanging in the air. Looking back over the Chattanooga airport, looking back to the west around sunset time from earlier, so a beautiful view there on the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera. Back to around the News 12 studios, the north face of Lookout Mountain, Ruby Falls, seen there, Broad Street at the bottom of the screen on the Patriot Concrete camera. Traffic was a little bit problematic earlier tonight at 2475. Everything moving along well on the Tomahawk Crane and Rigging camera. All these cameras available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. That's available at WDEF.com. A few folks out and about earlier in Coolidge Park. Few folks on the footbridge. Other than that, we're not seeing, again, anything huge with a lot of people out and about. It was a decent day, hot but not too humid. Looking off to the west-northwest across the area of Erlanger Hospital. Temperatures back again tonight through about the 80s, and heat index numbers with those dew point temperatures rising at this time of the evening back in the mid-80s or so. So we are seeing a little bit more in the way of humidity for right now. We do have, again, a new storm system developing over portions of the Midwest. Little, if anything, going on here. We do have down to our south a dying cold front, which is being turned into a warm front back to the west of us. What does that mean? It means that as of right now, the warmer air is pushing this direction behind this particular front. So the hotter conditions here will be starting to affect us in about a couple of days' time, stair-stepping upwards on the temperatures as we go into the next couple of days. Then the main energy of the system makes its way out of the Rockies, through the Plain States, across the Mississippi River, and that gives us the potential of some more strong storms where we are. It looks like this front is going to be in no hurry to make its way across the area. So yes, there is the potential of some severe weather way back to our north and west tonight. So middle parts of Kansas, eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, northwest Missouri will pick up the best potential, a slight risk of severe weather in the yellow shaded category. That is for tonight. As we go into tomorrow, we have the threat increasing but staying back to our north and west. Slight risk from around Pittsburgh, Kansas, through St. Louis, down toward Rolla, Missouri, Cape Girardeau, all the way up to Chicago and Milwaukee, Kansas City, back over east of Des Moines. That'll be the best threat there. Then it's our turn as we go into Friday. This is a marginal threat of severe weather. What does that mean? It means that this is the lowest of the low potential that we can have severe weather. So on a scale of 5, this is about a 1 out of 5. So this means it's a potential for seeing some severe weather. The main threat will be damaging winds from any storms that move on through. We do not see anything at this time involving a severe weather outbreak going up toward moderate or high. But Friday afternoon and evening, I would watch this very carefully. It looks like it'll start off back to the west of us to begin with Friday early and then move our direction into Friday evening. And again, so far, damaging winds are the main threat. If that increases over the next couple of days, we're going to have to watch that very carefully for outdoor activities, especially late Friday, early Saturday morning. We'll keep you updated on this, but these maps that we've shown you from the Storm Prediction Center will change over the next few days. The forecast waxes and wanes, coalesces, comes together, goes apart, depending on what the atmospheric models are telling us. So this does give us the potential of some severe weather, not a lot, but we do still need to pay attention to what we're looking at here. So for the next couple of days, I think we're going to be seeing decently quiet for tomorrow. That marginal risk will show up on Friday. The chances of showers and thunderstorms with that warm front approaching from the west will give us more chances of showers and thunderstorms Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Sunday, we should reduce the chances, and then we get back to some more stable, just about normal. Normal at this time of the year is right about here, about 90 degrees. Next couple of days will be above that in the lower to mid 90s, and then after that warm front of that area of that system, the latest storm system pass on through, we'll continue to see better conditions on the temperatures. Not cool, unfortunately, by any stretch of the imagination, but at least it will be a little bit below normal for a couple of days. So not seeing triple digits, record-breaking heat. Wish we could say we're getting some cooler weather in there. We're about 38 days away from the change in season. That does not guarantee anything in the way of cooler weather. Would be nice, but not going to be happening. So for right now, that appears to be what we're looking at for the next several days. Let's go ahead and head out to the tropics, where again we have, if you haven't been paying attention here, a lot has been changing in the last 24 hours. We had Tropical Storm Ernesto that has now been upgraded to a hurricane, winds of 80 miles per hour. So we've got a Category 1 storm on our hands, making its way just over areas close to around Puerto Rico. This storm has really started to give us a lot more structure. It is, again, spinning nicely here, and that is where we're starting to see that structure and those eye walls beginning to develop right around the center portion. You can see almost a pretty good eye trying to form right through that spin, but it's not quite there yet. As it moves over warmer waters up north and east of the Bahamas, that is where we could be looking at the potential for a lot more development out of this. So for right now, it is still several thousand miles away from portions of the United States, the Gulf. It is not going to be an issue at this point for the United States, and here's why. The storm systems that we have passing over the top of us are going to be allowing this storm system, as it gets a little bit closer to the United States, it's already started to make that turn, going from northwest to almost pure north, and that has already happened. So in the next couple of days, looking through tomorrow, becomes a Category 2 by 6 a.m. Friday, according to the latest forecast updates. These, again, like the severe weather forecast we just showed you, could change in the next couple of days. So always a good idea to stay tuned to see what's going on. We have no center line here. The storm could go anywhere in this particular location as we go forward. That little dot, very difficult to see up there, that's Bermuda. And as of right now, if this storm continues on its potential path, it's going to be possibly becoming a Category 3 storm. That is, again, a major hurricane. So if it gets that heavy, it looks like this is a possible problem here to where Bermuda will be on the east-northeast side of this storm by late Saturday. That's the worst potential of getting the storm to move in. That northeastern quarter of the storm, that is usually the heaviest winds and also the heaviest rainfall. Now, in a way, that's good news for Bermuda because that will help to fill up their rain cisterns. They don't have an actual particular plumbing system per se, as I understand it. So any good storm that moves over Bermuda, the cisterns collect water for the residents to use throughout the dry periods and or whenever they need the rain out there. So that will help. But a Category 2 hurricane, winds of 110 miles per hour approaching Bermuda, not good news at this point. Then the storm continues to barrel again. You notice a bit of a wibble wobble right here. That's those passing storm systems to the north, giving this storm system a chance to try to arc back to the west, but then going back to the east, back to the west, and then back to the east again. So that by about this time next Tuesday, this storm system will be approaching the Canadian Maritimes and does not look to be a threat to the United States. So definitely some good news on that. And for right now, I think we don't have too much of anything to worry about in the way of possible problems with this particular storm. Let me remind you that we are only about 2.5 months into the hurricane season, and as of right now, this is what we are looking at in the way of ocean sea surface temperatures. Anything above 80 degrees is where a storm can move over those waters and pick up the moisture and the instability from the ocean surface. And notice that these temperatures are way above 80 degrees, and in some cases around the rim of the Gulf of Mexico in the last week or so have been well over 90 degrees. And that is, again, rocket fuel for these storms. So all it's going to take is one storm system with the perfect, everything falls into place, the tumblers in the lock go where they should, and a storm system that can tap into this particular energy is going to be a very big problem. Rapid intensification could take place, and that could still take place with Ernesto's path, even though it's over some relatively not entirely too hot temperatures of the ocean surface. It is possible that we could see Ernesto blossom and grow very, very quickly. So that is going to be something that we are going to have to watch very, very closely. And if you are traveling anywhere near the East Coast, you really need to pay attention. For right now, it does not look like the National Hurricane Center and the hurricane hunters are planning a trip to Ernesto at this point. It is possible, but I'm not seeing anything that says we will get a direct up-close look at this particular system. So this, again, could be a bit of a problem in the next few days, so please keep it tuned to News 12. Add to that, over the next several days and weeks, going through the midpoint of the month, we're still looking at better potential development back over portions of the Atlantic. That goes through week number 2 of the forecast, going out 1 week from this week. Going out 2 weeks, we start to see a really big improvement in the potential, going up to 60% above normal, way out into the mid-Atlantic. Now, hopefully, the winds will stir these things and steer them a little bit further to the north so they are not a problem, but that trajectory with the winds going to be aiming for the East Coast, Florida, possibly threading the needle into the Gulf of Mexico. These are just forecasts. They can change very easily in the next several days and weeks. So keep it tuned to News 12, and we will keep you advised as to what may be changing with these forecasts. Now, the good news at this point is that I think we are seeing some very healthy amounts of dust moving off the Sahara Desert in Africa. That dust filters out the light and helps to keep the ocean surface from getting too warm. And there are some pretty good pulses of energy bringing more dust over the ocean. That, again, filters out the sun and helps things to be not quite as active. But remember that Beryl, a few weeks ago, formed in a pocket just like this one. So it is possible we could see, let me bring that back here. Beryl formed in something like this just on the south side of this dust westbound over the ocean surface. This is completely normal. This is what happens when the Sahara Desert winds blow this dust and sand out over the Atlantic. It's good fertilizer for portions of the Amazon rainforest, and it can do a good job of cutting down the number of tropical systems. But it is possible we could see something develop just right in that particular zone, and that could spell a lot of problems. So that, again, is something we will be watching with a lot of interest out there. All right, that's it for our main weather segment. Let's do some extracurricular work. Not too sure which Arby's you are at, but if you get down there and get some horsey sauce, I really would appreciate it. I haven't had Arby's in over a couple of years, and I'm really hankering for a roast beef sandwich. Thank you very much. All that aside, you didn't need to know that, but there it is. Thank you very much. Sharon Gass from Rossville, Georgia. A view from South Georgia. Not too sure if this was sunrise or sunset, but thank you very much for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see them. Go ahead and send them in to us. Again, drop them to our social media channels, email them to us, or go to our website, wdef.com/photos, where you can drop your pictures off and see what everybody else has been submitting for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. All right, off into astronomy of a sort, or exometeorology, talking about weather on other planetary bodies in the solar system. The atmosphere of Venus is how many times thicker than that of Earth. All the planets have different thicknesses of the gases that cover their surface. Now on Mars, it's the complete and total opposite. If you could breathe on Mars, it would take roughly 100 breaths to equal one breath of being on Earth. The atmospheric pressure is that low. Mars lost a lot of its atmosphere millions of years ago. But the atmosphere of Venus is complete and total opposite. It's an overpacking of gases which are much, much thicker. And I've seen this reported. I still would like to get this verified, but apparently the atmosphere down toward the surface of Venus is so thick that it doesn't allow lightning to come down from the clouds to reach the surface. I don't know if that's, I can't confirm that's true. If it is, it's fascinating. But again, the air's so thick, how much thicker is it? 12 times, 55 times, 93, 122, 93 times, 59% of you voted for that, and that is the correct answer on that. So congratulations if you voted for that. That is our Langley Roof, or pardon me, our friendinroofing.com weather poll of the day. And again, watching our next poll pop up at midnight. You can go to wdef.com/vote now to find out more about what to look for there. So thank you very much for participating in our friendinroofing.com weather poll of the day. Want to tell you about this, that again, for our picture takers out there, and these are some of the examples of some of the pictures that have been sent in to us over the last few weeks and months. The World Meteorological Organization keeps track of weather and climate worldwide. They have a yearly photography contest in which the best of the best of the best sent in from around the world will wind up in the World Meteorological Organization's 2025 calendar competition. So if you would like to enter, you've got about 2 weeks left. Deadline is the 1st of September. If you'd like to know more, WMO.int. If you'd like to know a little bit more about it, or to turn your picture in. It'd be really kind of neat to be able to see if any of our viewers around here send their pictures in for that. So please consider entering. No cash prize, but a worldwide knowledgeable base that you are one of the best on the planet. That's not too shabby out there. Now, the World Meteorological Organization also keeps track of worldwide temperatures. And I wish we had some better news, but unfortunately we don't at this point, going all the way over to Europe. And this is just a small fraction of some of the hottest conditions out there. Some of these all-time record highs, day after day, month after month, year after year, the record high temperatures due to human-induced climate change as one of the factors out there, the major factor for, again, all of this. The Mediterranean is heating up, the Atlantic is heating up. This is helping to increase temperatures. And in Zenica, Bosnia-Herzegovina, another 2 days in a row, all-time record high was set in the former Yugoslavia. In Sombor in Serbia, record high temperature today of 105, and day 2 of record highs in Peshkopi, Albania. That 106, that equals the high temperature that you saw yesterday in that area. More information on Twitter from @ExtremeTemps. If you'd like to see more about what other bad news is taking place, why we all need to pay attention to climate change out there. And from the World Meteorological Organization, no good news here in that the month of July was one of, if not the hottest month in modern records. And the world's hottest day was registered a couple of days ago. Yet another, quote, yet another unwelcome indication of the extent that greenhouse gases from human activities are changing our climate. Really bad news at this point. And again, that comes direct from the World Meteorological Organization. More information there at WMO.int. All right, got no questions. Nobody saying hi on Twitter or YouTube at this point. Nothing, at least, that has reached me. So not seeing anything immediate here. Again, if you got questions, drop them into the comments section, the stream chat for Twitter, and onto the chat function for YouTube. Would love to know what you're thinking out there, and would love to be able to answer your questions if we can on that. So for right now, I think we'll go ahead and turn it over to back to your regular Wednesday night programming. Don't forget, we'll be on News 12 at 11, so stay tuned for more there. And, of course, we'll have more on the morning show with Chip Chapman. That starts on your forecast at 5 a.m. Thursday morning, so we're getting closer toward the end of the week, so good news on that. Questions, concerns, ideas, drop me a line at aonic@wdef.com. On YouTube, it's right below where I'm pointing. On Twitch, it's a little farther down. Let me see if I can get over. There we go, down toward that. We've got two different cameras running here, one for YouTube and the other one for Twitch, so we can do this simultaneously. Works a lot easier on there for that. I'll have more on your forecast tonight at 11. And again, please keep it tuned to News 12 on air and online. And, of course, we'll keep you advised on that. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick with WDEF News 12's exclusive video weather blog, Weather Overtime. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again coming up on Thursday.